Hey guys, here's the gear for today. This is a scent I've only tried once. The Sudsy Soapery puts out a very nice soap base. And this was an interesting scent, and I wanted to try it one more time. And I'll be using my Marathon Nacet here. And then I'm using my B9A Declaration brush with the Bristle Brushwerks handle. And it's a 28 millimeter brush, and so it's a big brush. And if it's a soft brush, then that's not too bad. But when you get a big brush that has a high density and kind of firm backbone, then that can add up to a brush that feels very hard. So I've been working on it. Hopefully I can get it to improve and break in a little bit, if you will. We'll also be using the Karve Christopher Bradley. I used it yesterday. This is the C open comb base plate. I shaved maybe even over 1.5 days of growth yesterday, and it did reasonably well. And so I wanted to give it another try on a a standard bit of hair growth today. And the solid bar Christopher Bradley C and D plates that I tried recently weren't all that enjoyable. Or rather, they were okay, but they didn't cut very close. But yesterday, this one sure did. And so maybe the open comb can make a lot of difference. So let's just see what happens. I will get my face wet. Oh, after I put the blade in, let's do that. So this is the Gladius handle. I believe this is the 3.25. It might be the 3.5. I can't remember. And here's the Nacet. I hold my hand flat like that. That way when it catches and it turns like that, my fingers are out of the way. Now we can, oh here, let's show you. 357, a wonderful caliber. 357 is the count for today's shave. All right, face is wet. I wouldn't mind having a 357 pistol, 357 Magnum, because my friend let me shoot his and it was great, because if you need stopping power or penetration power, really is what the 357 mag is about, then you can have the 357 Magnum rounds. But when you're target shooting or just having fun, then you can use a 38 caliber round, which is much cheaper. It's a subsonic round, and so it doesn't have as much punch. Shake a lot of the water out. So it's a fun little gun that can shoot 2 different caliber bullets that have 2 different purposes. All right, so here is the green and white surface of the top of the Morn. It smells a little weird. It does have some bright notes, bright green, maybe a hint of mint, which I'm not a fan of, but it's kind of zesty. It's, is it kind of akin to maybe an Irish Spring or something? I mean, maybe it's probably in that family, but let's just give it a shoot here. Let's load for 25 seconds because I don't have any idea how much I need to load for. I started at 35. So 55 is going to be 20 seconds. And so we'll go for 5 more after that. And there we go. So this brush was holding a lot of soap. We had quite a bit of dripping here. It's got a slight green tint to it. And I'm going to use some of this runoff just to break down my oils on the skin. Start to. You can also get a feel for the slickness of the soap. Isn't it funny how this runoff right here just feels really slick? It's neat. One thing about the Sudsy Soapery, I ordered a couple of tubs of soap from them, and when they came, it was totally flat here with the soap. And what had air and stuff was the bottom. And so it's one of those things where I guess they took the right amount of soap and they maybe took a spatula or something and whap, and then they leveled it off. And then they waited or whatever, and everything's good. And so they didn't really bother to, press it down. So obviously it wasn't poured into the container. as part of their process. But just in case you get it and it's flat, and then what I did was I pressed it down with my thumb so that the air would be gone from the bottom part, and I could always see how much I had left. And so that's just a little trivia. Wouldn't want you to get caught off guard. All right, so let's start working on this lather. Pretty good shave with this brush yesterday. So maybe the tips are softening up just a little bit. This is a tallow soap. And one of the nice things about some of their soaps, maybe all of them, I'm not really sure, 100% all natural. So none of the, I don't think any of the fragrance oils, you know, the synthetic ones or anything like that are in here. They're just using naturally occurring scent oils. And for some people, that's an important thing. This is a tallow soap. Now the retail page for this soap made some pretty extreme claims. I think it said at the time that we discovered this scent and it was just the most amazing scent we'd ever tried. And you know, come on, really? Really? They didn't have a lot on their site that matched kind of my preferences, at least that I didn't already have, you know, some other scents on. And so I bought this one. With another order that I was doing, I had a tub of lemon rose chypre or something like that. I was using that during the lather games this past year. Yeah, we've got a nice lather working up here. That's with 2 teaspoons of water already put in. That's pretty elastic right there. Not tons and tons of lather, but it looks like plenty to do the job. And that's okay. That's just fine. And we just go ahead and try this out. I can always add a little bit of water if I need to, right? 3 teaspoons of water. Okay. I'll get my face wet once more. Oh, and remember to squeeze the water out of my goatee so it doesn't flush out my lather. All right, brush. Let's see how you do. I'm also erring with this brush on the side of having it be just a little more creamy than I might normally like, a little more dry. Because with all the backbone that this thing has, I want to try to put it in its best light. If I'm going to make a mistake, I don't want to err on the side of a wet lather. Really over wet one, you know. Brush feels pretty good. It is difficult to splay. And it, you know, I do feel it pushing on me when I change directions. You see my cheek? See how it pushes my cheek up? But we're hoping that that changes. Thinking that maybe a 24 millimeter with this type of hair might be just perfect. This is a pretty dry lather. It's staying fairly creamy. It's not giving me some of the signs that it's a bad dry, you know. This is a really good soap base. Let's go ahead and just kind of paint on a little bit more water. And I want to rake some of this excess that's on the side off before it just spills. This brush holds so much water. With some brushes, they're so small that you can only put a little bit in on the brush tips at a time, but this one can just hold it with no problem. All right, very good. So we are at 3.5 teaspoons of water. It's this kind of brush that's just so dense, it's just not as much of a joy for me to work, because it's just sure, if you get one that has really soft tips, then that's, at least it feels soft on your face, but then the shoving around and the pushing and I feel it in my arms after I work this kind of a brush, because I have to, if I try to have some splay to be able to enjoy that, then I'm always pressing, constantly pressing on my face with a lot more force than I usually do. All right. So use 357, and this is a one that shows a more normal growth rate of 1 day as opposed to yesterday's shave. This is tuggy, but it's not painfully so. Sometimes if you have a tuggy shave, there's an easy solution. You can let your lather sit on your face for a little bit longer. 1 or 2 minutes longer. And sometimes that can make a big difference. The scent is very light on this. I do think it's kind of a morning type scent. To me, it seems like it would be, you know, just refreshing and pleasant in kind of a bright way. Not bright like, you know, punchy fruitiness or like zesty citrus. Wish I could tell. I'll look up, if I haven't already, the notes list for this one, if they provided it on their site, so you can see. But the slickness is really nice. Feels terrific. Creaminess is excellent. Feels great. That's one of the reasons I had a sample and I used it and I was like, holy cow, this is what a good base. And so that's why I went ahead and ordered 2 tubs of soap. All right. Yeah, plenty of soap, plenty of lather from that load. So 25 seconds for this soap, and this brush looks like a good match. And this, I feel the cutting, but I don't feel tugging. Everywhere else on my face seems to get a good shave no matter what I do, usually. But this little area you see me hitting after each pass is my trouble area. And let's rinse. Very happy with the rinses, nice luxurious feel, but also it's not so boily. That's when you say oily and buttery. It's not so oily and buttery that I don't feel that I've had a good rinse. I still, it rinses away pretty quickly, but it does give a good creamy feel while that's going on. All natural beef tallow, shave soap, and it comes in a 5.5 ounce jar, so that's nice. That's more than a lot of guys. They've been in business since 2011. All right, third pass. So you saw that elasticity wall that I pulled up out of the bowl. Looked really nice and slick and elastic. Collapsed on itself pretty easy, and that could still use a little bit more water. So this is definitely a high performance soap that you can push a lot of water into and get slickness and creaminess at the same time, and I do like that a lot. The scent does remind me of something. Can't picture it though. And right now, pleasurable shave, very nice. Just that first pass was a little tuggy, like I said. And now the third pass, I will change directions right here and hope to get those little pesky hairs cut. And there we go. Feels nice. As you can see, good bit of lather left over in the goatee again. And I've got plenty of soap. Why don't I go ahead and do another little pass right here. All right. Just a little touch up right there, and plenty of lather for another pass, maybe even two. So that's a good amount. That soap load seems like just the right one for what I like. And again, I'm going to go this direction here. If I go up too much at an upward angle, then I do end up with a little bit of irritation because that starts to be really against the grain. Face feels great. I was starting to feel a little bit tenderness right there because I did hit it quite a few times, and I started to go kind of against the grain, just a touch, and my face don't like it. Now that's actually a pretty good cut. I'm really happy with that. I don't think maybe I want to try the D open comb, but I might try the B, see how it did. But the C open comb seems to be another option for me, in addition to the Fatip Special Edition Piccolo with the open comb and the Fat Boy. Works well, setting 4 usually, and this guy with the C open comb. So the solid bars just didn't work all that great, but the open comb does. How about that? I guess when you are pushing a blade to its limits this far, sometimes the little things can make a big difference. And I believe that the Sharp Dressed Man is going to be a very friendly and compatible post-shave scent with this soap. Matter of fact, it may have so many common elements to it that may be what I was remembering, what I was liking, you know. And there we go. This guy has got just a Yeah, he feels like he's got a little bit more in there. I don't know, 20 more uses, something like that. This whiteness will definitely be gone. It'll absorb in several minutes. So with this brush, I am seeing some increase in the softness of the tips, and I'm really happy to see that. The first 2 times I used it, it just wasn't there, and who knows why? Maybe it's just such a new knot that it just needed to be broken in some more. But the softness I'm very happy with right now. It's just that density. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. Beautiful, very dense. And I have learned that this is a shape from Bristle Brushwerks from Jeff Huck that I enjoy. So if I ever see this one again, I'll know that at least maybe it's because it's a 28 millimeter and he had to make it bigger. But yeah, I like that too. So that lather could have used a little bit more water. So I could say that 4 teaspoons would be a better amount to use with the 25 seconds of loading. Yep, 25 seconds. And so that's for this brush at least, that seems to be a good amount that I might be happy with next time. The balm did great. My face feels really nice. I feel just a little bit of tenderness, right over in this area, but it's very small and it'll be gone in a few minutes. And something else, a little interjection here. I just recorded a video talking about the shutdown of the classic hard soaps from Fine Accoutrements. One of my favorite soap bases. I just really enjoy these hard pucks, and they had to shut down the factory that was making them. The parent company didn't have enough money to keep it going. And so they finally, that was a 100-year-old factory over in Europe. Pretty neat. I will be publishing that on my channel right around the same time I publish this video probably. And so look for that in case you're interested. The short of it is that they ran out of money and they had to stop the hard puck, but Mr. Fine has already sought out, he saw it coming. He sought out he's going to be making a crope from this point on. And so if you do like this type of format, you may want to get online with your favorite retailers and see what they have as far as this type of soap goes. The scent for this soap was kind of light, but in a way I think that's kind of justified. It doesn't have so much character that I want it to be intense. I'd say maybe a 4 out of 10 in terms of strength. You do smell it, and so you're able to get it as a part of your routine, but it's not something that is going to bowl anybody over. So I think it's a good ratio in terms of scent to soap. Wonderful performance, and that is consistent, seems to be consistent with this tallow soap base they have. I think they have a vegan soap base as well. But so feel free if you want to explore somebody different. They're a small company, and they're definitely around in terms of people using their products, just not a whole lot. And so they're reputable. 2011, so 9 years now they've been doing it. There we go. And yes, the Sharp Dressed Man is very complimentary scent to this soap. So glad about that. All right, well, I think that's it. Face feels great. As you can see, that whiteness of the balm absorbed nicely with no problem as I was putting gear away. So I hope you guys have a good day. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I hope this video has been good. Going to give you something good to use in your shaving journey. Take care.